Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us for today's demo dive-in. I'm Lauren Smith with the International Franchise Association, and we have a great session lined up for you. Before we begin, I would like to remind everyone that we're recording today's webinar and will make it available later this evening on community.franchise.org. If you have any questions for today's speakers, please add them to the Q&A box, and they will be addressed toward the end. Today's topic is Smart Answering, Unlocking Revenue and Efficiency for Retail Franchises, and it is brought to us by SoundHound AI. Here to provide today's discussion is Yishai Reinfeld, Director of E-commerce Smart Answering at SoundHound AI, and Fiona McAvoy, Director of Corporate Communications at SoundHound AI. Thank you all for joining us today, and thank you to SoundHound for sponsoring today's webinar. I'll go ahead and turn things over to you.
Thank you so much, Lauren, and welcome everyone. We're very excited to dive in today. We hope you will learn something, and most importantly, you're going to hear about an innovation that we hope is useful to you, that is a problem solver. So without further ado, I'm actually going to pass to my colleague Yishai, who is going to explain to you all about Smart Answering.
Thanks so much, Fiona. Good morning and good afternoon, everyone. So welcome to our webinar on unlocking revenue and efficiency for retail franchises. I'm Yishai Reinfeld, our Director of E-commerce here for Smart Answering at SoundHound AI, and I'm thrilled to introduce to you a game-changing solution that's transforming how businesses handle customer calls. Now, first, I want to dive deep into a challenge that's affecting our franchisees across the board: managing calls effectively. You might think that in our digital age, phone calls would be less important, but the reality is quite different. Recent studies show that 6 of 10 customers still prefer to call local businesses. Why is that? Because they want immediate answers, they want personalized service, and they want the assurance of speaking to a real person. This presents both an opportunity and a significant challenge. At the same time, we're facing an unprecedented staffing shortage. Our data shows that a staggering 80% of franchisee respondents are reporting having unfulfilled job vacancies. This isn't just a minor inconvenience. It's a critical issue that's affecting your bottom line. To further validate this challenge, we interviewed our own customers to determine the percentage of calls that you're missing in an average week or month. The numbers were alarming. Over 30% of calls are being missed on average. Let's break down what this means for your business. Lost revenue. Every missed call is a potential lost sale. If you're missing even 20% of your calls, that could translate to thousands of lost revenue every month. Decreased customer satisfaction. In today's market, customers expect immediate responses, and if they can't reach you, they'll likely move on to a competitor. Inefficient staff utilization. Your limited staff is constantly interrupted by phone calls, reducing their productivity in other critical areas of your business. And reputation damage. In the age of online reviews, a few negative experiences due to unanswered calls can significantly impact your business's reputation. So what do you need? Given these challenges, what you need is some form of automated answering solution that can respond to customers quickly and accurately every time, is custom designed to fit your unique customer journey, reduces the workload for your already overworked staff, and most importantly, helps unlock that revenue that you were missing. This is where Smart Answering comes in. Our solution is a fully customizable voice assistant that harnesses the power of voice AI to answer every call and assist with common questions and actions. Let's explore how Smart Answering provides a comprehensive solution to the problems we've discussed. 24/7 availability. Smart Answering ensures that every call is answered 24/7, 7 days a week. This means no more missed calls during peak hours, ability to capture after-hours inquiries, consistent customer experience, regardless of the time of day. Accurate and customized responses. It's really not a one-size-fits-all solution. Our product is tailored specifically to your business. It has a custom knowledge base built around your specific offerings, policies, and frequently asked questions. It has the ability of handling complex, multi-turn conversations, and it's continuously learning and improving based on actual customer interactions. Reducing the staff workload. By handling those redundant and routine inquiries, Smart answering frees up your staff to focus on high-value tasks, resulting in a reduction in interruptions, which leads to increased productivity. Of course, more time for the in-person customer, which improves the overall experience, and it decreases the stress on staff, potentially improving staff retention rates and staff attitude towards the customers at hand. Revenue generation. Smart answering isn't just about answering calls. It's about driving business growth. It automatically sends SMS links to specific pages and assets that we need to communicate to our customers, whether that's bookings, menus, special offers, scheduling estimates, allowing us to create a system that actually allows for us to capture that business as well. It has actionable insights. It goes beyond just handling calls. It actually provides you with valuable business intelligence. It records and transcribes every single call, giving you detailed call logs and analytics. It gives us insights into common customer inquiries and topics, and then we can make data-driven recommendations for improving the business operation. An intangible one here is that it actually also filters out spam calls. This is actually a problem that a lot of our customers are dealing with in rampant amounts. So it reduces the amount of time wasted on spam and robocalls. It protects the staff against potential scams and phishing attempts, and ensures that your staff only deals with legitimate customer inquiries. And it's really cost-effective scaling. As your business grows, smart answering can scale with you. You don't need to hire additional staff. You don't need to manage increased call volume. It consistently manages the quality of service, whether that be for a single location or for many locations. And it's a very low cost per hour compared to a human staff, which actually also activates significant ROI. Our proprietary research has identified several key themes that our customers frequently call about. Questions about hours of operation, the location and parking information, specific services that you might offer, the ability to book appointments, pricing information, frequently asked questions. And smart answering is really designed to handle all of these queries effortlessly, freeing up your staff to focus on in-person customer service and other critical tasks at hand. Before I dive deeper into the platform itself, I want to give you a brief overview of our company, SoundHound AI. We've been at the forefront of voice AI innovation since our founding in 2005. Our founders came from a standard dorm room and continue to be here with us today, leading the charge on voice enabling the world. We're proud to be the choice of many of the world's leading brands that you see here, and many more brands which we continue to work with. We are currently powering voice experiences in millions of products today: automotive, IoT, restaurants, enterprise, and phone systems. Now, let's see our voice assistant in action. Now, I'll admit, I had a little bit of extra fun with this. I randomly chose a franchise to demonstrate, landing on a franchise called Bloom & Blinds. Being that I'm in South Florida, I chose the Bloom & Blinds location in Hollywood. Let's dive right in. So this is the smart answering platform. This is a self-service capable solution. So we give you username and password, but our customer success team is here every step of the way for you, whether that's new product releases, brainstorming on certain situations, asking us for help on setting up the account for you, onboarding, and beyond. Our customer success team is really here for you every single step of the way. As we look at the smart answering platform, you'll see here up top that we provision a phone number. Now, for every location that we create for you, we automatically give you a phone number. This is a live and real phone number, so you can call this number at any point and actually engage with our voice assistant today. You can customize a greeting. You can see here I took a stab at inputting a greeting. This is fully customizable. There's no limitations to how often you customize it. And some of our customers really like to use this for marketing or limited time offers, specific natural weather events that are happening, as well as guidance for the customer to understand how to interact with the voice assistant. This is a pretty big shift from your traditional IVRs press 1 for sales, press 2 for service, this actually allows for a much more complex conversation with our system and the customer. So that type of guidance is really important for them. We'll actually play this greeting for you now.
Thank you for calling Bloomin' Blinds of Hollywood on a recorded line. I'm our new voice assistant that is here to help you schedule an estimate, answer questions about our products, make recommendations, offer information about financing, and much more. How can I help you today?
There's different voices to choose from. And like I said, we can change this greeting as many times as we need. Getting into the smart answering brain, we have the knowledge base. This is really where the meat of the system is. And this is where we add the information to basically enable the voice assistant to be able to answer questions. The knowledge base is broken down into 2 categories. We have smart actions and we have smart answers. Smart actions actually allow for our assistant to take actions on behalf of the customer. And we can set up a variety of different actions to take into consideration the needs that you have as a business. In the example of Bloomin' Blinds, we created some actions for making an appointment, scheduling an estimate, discussing a unique project, financing options, and even more. Now, each action allows for us to manage in a variety of different ways. So we can transfer a call anywhere, we can send an SMS link to a particular web page, and we can even take a message on behalf of the staff or the customer. In that example of the unique product discussion, for example, it's a great opportunity to take a message so that someone from the staff can call the customer back with more information about their unique project. From the smart answers section, which is the other part of the brain, this is where we enable our system to be a lot more informational on the things that are important to the business. Whether that's frequently asked questions, and you can see a variety of different questions that we have here, to information about location, to information about policies, products and services, and much more. It's very easy to add knowledge. So Fiona, is there a specific example of knowledge that you'd like for me to add today?
Yeah, I've been thinking about this just from a perspective of a customer, and when I call a business, like what am I looking for? And often I'm actually looking to speak to maybe a specific person or like a department like corporate office. Is that something that you can accommodate here so you can kind of connect the customer to where they want to be, just using this automated system?
Absolutely. So the process of adding knowledge is very easy. We actually made this in a way for you to input the information in a way that's actually intuitive and natural to you. So in the example of the corporate office, for example, I'm going to go here to add knowledge, and I'm going to say, when a caller asks to speak with the corporate office, please transfer to 123-456-7890. That's not a real number, but for the sake of the example, you'll see. So we input the knowledge, we hit preview, and the system will come back to us and say, we believe you should create an action that says when the caller asks for the corporate office, transfer to this number. Now we can establish here what we use as the recipient name and the pronoun. We even have the ability here, if a call transfer is unsuccessful, say, for example, there's many people on the phone already, or for any other reason, a transfer actually fails to get to the business, we actually have the ability to take a message and send an SMS link to the employee, letting them know that a call transfer failed. So we'll go ahead and add the knowledge. Click here. And within just a couple moments, you'll see the new label pop up here. In any environment that we want to test, we have this really cool test your smart answering button here, which is always accessible to our customers. We can play or skip the greeting. So I'll go ahead and skip the greeting in this example. Hi, I'd like to speak with the corporate office.
Okay, please hold while I transfer your call to our corporate office.
So that is a simulation example. You see right away I was able to add the knowledge and it transfers to the corporate office. So it's very easy to add the knowledge, but what you're going to see is that the way that the information is structured is kind of presented in a few different ways. Frequently asked questions are presented in a question and answer format. I'm sorry. Actions are presented with the title of the action and the actual action itself, whether that's send an SMS or take a message. And then some of our other categories are actually based on label topics and themes. And so what this actually enables us to do is to ask more complex questions as part of our conversation, right? As what we mentioned earlier, this isn't simply a sort of scripted system, but what this really enables us to do is to have a conversation where perhaps we're asking multiple questions, where we are talking in multiple turns back and forth with the system and getting more information. And I'll actually show you an example here. I have a unique project to discuss, but before I do, why should I choose you?
We offer quality products from trusted manufacturers, expert advice for blind selection, professional installation for a secure and correct fit, and excellent customer service with a personal touch. The best way for me to help you discuss your unique project is to pass along a message to our Bloomin' Blind experts so that they can call you back to help you talk about your unique project. Would you like me to do that now?
So that's just another simulated example. But what you'll see is I actually asked multiple questions here. I said, why should I choose you? That's not something that we necessarily created a label for. And I asked about a unique custom project. So the unique project discussion takes a message to send an SMS. That's why it asked one of our experts to speak with you. And it actually answered a question based on the brain that we have, where it took certain pieces of information and brought them together to generate a response. So it really enables for a complex and sort of in-depth conversation, which really allows for our customers and our business partners to really reduce the type of bandwidth and the types of calls that are reaching the business, because we can actually tailor the knowledge base to be pretty complex in terms of the information that it covers. Recommendations, specific prices, situations that it needs to provide you with certain troubleshooting steps. We can always create knowledge to answer practically anything. Even if we required multiple steps for some sort of troubleshooting, we can always create an FAQ, for example, that says, what are the steps to replace a set of Roman blinds? And we can have step 1, step 2, step 3. And so the system is really able to answer a variety of complex situations for our customers. The great thing about this is that once we build the knowledge base and we turn it on, callers start to call, and our system starts to engage with customers and already starts to leverage the knowledge that we have to be able to provide that experience for your customers. Moreover, we actually record and we actually analyze the calls themselves to show you how the system is engaging with the customer and actually provide recommendations for how to continue optimizing the system. We can look at the call history, and you'll see here an actual example of a call that we had earlier. So you see here the caller said, I'd like to schedule an estimate. Then we talked about using the website, sending the links, learning about financing options, which they provide here. And then what we're able to do is actually look at the analytics section and see that there's 2 callers that came in, 2 calls that were smart answered, meaning our voice assistant actually handled the conversation and was able to actually send a link in those cases. You can click on the particular topic and you'll see the conversation where that topic was discussed. So this becomes an incredibly powerful tool for our customers because there's a certain uncertainty without a system like Smart Answering as it pertains to how callers are conversing with your staff and the types of topics that are most common. This analytics system will actually allow for you to break down those topics at a much lengthier scale as long as you need. So you can see over the course of the last month, you've had 46 calls about estimates, 16 calls about financing, and you can actually start to make key business decisions and optimizations based on that information. And our customer success team is always here to provide those recommendations and work with you to ensure that we're getting the most out of the Smart Answering solution. And that's the platform in a nutshell. We are allowed to build quick and easy to deploy voice assistants that can be as local as we want. So we can quickly and easily deploy from 1 to thousands of locations if we need it, where we have key information that might persist across the locations, as well as unique information that pertains to each individual location, such as the hours, the key URLs and links which drive to local pages, certainly the phone numbers, and any other specific information potentially about the region that the business is in, or any other unique information that they want to provide. We've had some fantastic customer testimonials using the Smart Answering product, and here are just a few examples. We've got a Planet Fitness franchisee who has had a significant drop in info calls and a significant increase in productivity at the locations. Our Subway franchisee has had a life-changing experience with Smart Answering at the locations that are active versus the locations which we have yet to deploy, where he mentions it is practically a madhouse at the locations where it's not implemented, and a quasi-nirvana at the location that does have it, because the staff is really focused on the customers, the phone isn't ringing unless it really needs to, and it overall creates a much more productive environment. And in the case of our golf course customer, or one of our golf courses, the increase in online traffic and booking has been a substantial improvement for their business, driving customers to their loyalty programs, to their own website versus the Golf Nows of the world, which actually create a lot of new opportunity for our customers. We've also had a tremendous impact across our customer base. In just this short amount of time, we've saved hundreds of hours from staff and training. We're filtering a majority of calls for our customers as it pertains to spam and robocalls. And we're really able to drive a highly cost-effective deployment of a solution that enhances and empowers your staff to be able to focus on other critical tasks at hand. To get started with us, it's an incredibly easy process. You'll just connect with a SoundHound representative to sign up. That could be me as well. You'll see my email here at the end of this presentation. We'll work together with our customer success team to discuss your needs, setup, and onboarding. And from there, we begin testing and trial. All of our accounts come with a free trialing period, and our team is there very closely at the pulse with you, making sure we're understanding the needs of the business. We're setting up the knowledge base to be able to address those core needs. We actually include additional information which may not be so clear in terms of the types of the types of topics that callers call about. And then what happens is we turn on the system, we turn on call forwarding. It's a very light solution. There's no additional hardware needed. We basically just turn on call forwarding from your main line to the phone number that we provide. And once callers start to call is when we start to really get those insights, those call history pieces where we can then continue to make optimizations and get the product and the solution to a place where the benchmarks that we are hitting in terms of the amount of calls that are getting handled by the voice assistant is satisfactory and in a place that is truly creating that impact for the staff. We are very confident that Smart Answering can transform how you handle customer calls, leading to increased efficiency and increased revenue for your franchise. By implementing Smart Answering, you're not just solving a problem, you're transforming a pain point into a powerful tool for business growth and for customer satisfaction. Now, I want to take some time to go into a Q&A section where we can discuss a couple questions. I'm sure there's a lot from our conversation today, so I want to open up the floor.
Yeah, and I will jump in there. Please put your questions in the Q&A. I can see it filling up, which is great, but I'm going to be selfish and just ask a quick couple of questions, if I may, Shai, that kind of popped into my mind as you were speaking. One of which is, about employees, about staff at these businesses, because you still need staff. This is a support. How do they receive this technology? How do they find working alongside it? You mentioned some of the testimonials there, and it seems like it's going well, but could you speak a little bit about how this kind of AI answering system works alongside existing staff?
Absolutely. So staff has actually been the biggest champions of the smart answering solution for us in terms of with our customers. The truth is they don't really want to be answering the phone in the first place. We've had several customers come to us and tell us that they've got, whether it's youthful staff or inexperienced staff trying to answer the phones, or even staff that's simultaneously trying to answer the phones and deal with things like tours or more complex sales conversations. And so the fact that we can input a solution that is actually going to be consistent, on brand, allow for them to focus on the task at hand, on the customer at hand, on the tours, while the system is adequately handling the customer, for them, it's an incredible benefit because it's very easy to manage, doesn't take much effort from the staff, and they're really just seeing the benefit of the phone's not ringing nearly as much. Customers are actually happy that are calling, and the customers that are in front of us are much more happy because they don't hear the phone ringing off the hook.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. It's, it's there to alleviate the burden in many cases and free them up to do other things. Just another quick kind of related question is, you mentioned a couple of times spam calls, info calls, and I think we all know that a lot of businesses, when the phone rings, I mean, they really are deluged with, robocalls, people trying to sell things. A lot of the time, that's the distraction, not necessarily customers coming through wanting to do business. Can you explain a little bit about how this system kind of answers, it sort of deals with those calls and takes this issue away?
Absolutely, absolutely. And actually, that's something that I personally deal with myself. I'm sure a lot of our participants deal with that as well. Our customers certainly deal with a lot of robo and spam calls, just like in the example of Subway that I brought up earlier. And so our system is not very friendly to automated spam systems. There's a lot of confusion between the system when they try to speak with us to where the system ends up hanging up. And we do have some triggers and systems to detect spam calls and robocalls to effectively try to minimize that as much as possible. So we're not a pleasant experience for the spammers out there and the people who are trying to phish customers. And in the case of Subway, we actually had some locations that had dealt with spam and phishing issues in the past, and we're actually working on trying to work all their way back from the issue that happened. And so being that we deployed smart answering on one of their locations recently, they actually were able to fully identify, we really killed the spam calls that were coming to that location, which is actually creates a lot of relief for not just the staff, but for the business owner as well. It's very sophisticated these days, the types of scams and phishing attacks that are out there. And so it's very easy to prey on a particular staff member, especially if the general manager is not there, or if there isn't a consistent exercise and approach to maintaining that level of data security. It's very rampant over the phone. And so knowing that the staff will not have to deal with that is a huge relief to our customers.
Yeah, I can imagine it's annoying and a distraction, but lots of other things as well. I'm going to dig in a little bit to our questions from those that are listening now. Interesting question. I think I might know the answer, but perhaps you could help us handle this one, Ishai, which is, do we have an outbound solution that kind of deals with leads? I mean, could you speak to that and maybe how this system helps with leads?
Sure, that's a great question. So from the smart answering side, we don't currently have an outbound specific product. Our smart answering is very much focused on receiving phone calls and being the voice assistant for our business. That's not to say SoundHound doesn't have products for the enterprise or other products that do have those capabilities. But in our sense, really the way that we're taking leads most effectively for our customers is through that message taking action. or sending a customer to the unique landing page or destination where you're collecting that lead information. So in the case of many of our customers, when someone asks, like in the example that I created for Bloomin' Blinds, when someone has a unique product discussion or a unique project, or they have a reservation for more than 20 people, right? Or there's specific instances calling about painting services or replacement for a roof, where our system will actually take a message. It will ask a variety of questions that the customer will then respond. And then the employee that's set to receive that message will actually get an AI generated summary that shows who the caller was, what they were calling about, and then actually give you a link directly to the transcript of that conversation. So it's very easy to access. You receive that text message, you click on it, it takes you right to the transcript, and you can see the entire substance of the conversation.
I hope that answered your question, the person who wrote that, and just diving straight into another one. And I don't know whether we're going to go through this in forensic detail here, Ishai, but people are inevitably asking about costs and how that works on a per location basis. Like how should they think about how much this is going to set them back?
Sure. So it's a very lightweight solution. As I mentioned, there's no additional hardware that's required. We have free trials and free pilots that we offer for our customers. And we have fairly flexible pricing when it comes to the type of call volume that you might have, to the type of corporate structure or the amount of locations that you have. But we have a product that starts at $99, and that's on a month-to-month basis. There's no agreement for a smaller location business, and then it kind of grows from there. But what you'll find is that even in enterprise environments, it's still an incredibly cost-effective solution relative to staff, relative to other products that are out there. And so you'll find that because we own our voice technology, because of how we've built a lot of our technology ourselves, we're allowed to be flexible, we're nimble, we move quickly, and we're able to be pretty aggressive on pricing.
And I'm sure they can contact you to have that conversation and learn more, Ishai.
Absolutely, yes.
Great, and we've got Ishai's contact details for anyone who needs them. Oh, interesting. A quick question that's come in. Apologies if I've skipped over yours. This is just the latest one to come in that's caught my eye. This person noticed that SoundHound recently acquired Amelia and is asking about will the smart answering solution be deployed across multiple roles within an organization, for example, in an HR or customer service role, or is it focused solely on inbound calls and routing? Ishai, is that something you could give a little bit of an answer to?
Absolutely. So without going too deep into some of our other products, we do have solutions that work across segments. The Amelia acquisition we're incredibly excited about. That really enters us into new verticals, healthcare, finance, at the enterprise level. Deeply integrated system, conversational AI, multi-channel as well. We also have products that enable back-of-house training. And with the Smart Answering product ourselves, we do have ways to create the knowledge base in a way that can be a sort of help desk or ask desk for staff. Because it's flexible and because the knowledge base is really tailored in the way that we'd like, we can always use a location to basically provide a variety of different knowledge that anyone can call into and ask. So that could be used for training or HR. However, we do have products that are very specific towards training and enablement, which we hope to discuss on another call.
Yeah, that's great. And obviously we can discuss that as well. So you mentioned, Ishai, sort of making this bespoke to specific locations. Is that something that you're seeing taken advantage of a lot from the customers that you're working with at the moment? And how are they utilizing that, where they've got very different locations and different setups amongst their franchises?
Absolutely. That's a fantastic question. So a lot of our franchise customers have sort of another issue that we didn't necessarily discuss here, which is being able to create brand consistency and messaging across a network of locations. And so our multi-location customers love Smart Answering because of how easy it is to deploy across a large set of locations and then still have the intuitive controls to be able to change nuanced information on a per location basis. Some of our customers look at that per location basis in a different way. You may have some regions which have an older customer demographic, for example. And so for our customers that have the older customer demographic, we build the knowledge base to be a lot more informational. We're not sending as many SMS links, for example. We're doing more call transfers, message taking, and really providing a robust information set to be able to answer as many questions as possible for the customer. In contrast, another region might have a youthful demographic. And so in that case, our customers that have younger end customers are much more comfortable with receiving SMS messages. They actually prefer to get links to direct pages versus having to hear more information on the phone. And so we can very easily set up one location that's very information heavy to the next location is very directional, providing links to pages, providing references to other information, which will be very easily to access through your phone. So it's a very, very flexible solution that really allows for us to think of each location as its entirely own setup, although we have all the capabilities to easily and efficiently deploy the information that is persistent across the locations at scale. So we could spin up a multi-thousand unit franchise fairly quickly with persistent information and then work through the process of all of the nuanced details. Hope that answers the question.
Yeah, hopefully it does. And just a little segue on this, kind of, you just mentioned actually kind of multi-thousand locations. Is there a limit to the number of locations that this technology can service? Like how far can it be stretched, I guess?
Yeah, so in terms of how many locations, there really isn't a limitation of how many we can deploy. As long as those locations have a phone number that we can then enable call forwarding, we're able to deploy at scale. What we find is actually in some of these cases, it's not our technology that has limits, but our actual customers that have limits in the way that they want to deploy, the approach for regionality or management, and how they want to deploy across their network is really, what we're able to work with because of how flexible the solution is. But we have customers that are in the multi-thousand units and certainly working on deploying with other customers in that range. And it's just as effective with a single business to those multi-thousand unit franchises.
And just thinking about industries, obviously we saw some of the case studies there, and strong in restaurants, and there was a gymnasium there as well. Are there specific verticals that this works better for, or is the sky the limit in terms of the different industries that it can work for?
Absolutely. No, and that's a great question. So there's professional services, home services, retail, hospitality, education. There's a multitude of industries where smart answering really shines. The platform is agnostic, and so it doesn't really care per se about what industry. I will say though, and hence foreshadowing again to our conversations about Amelia, when it comes to a regulated financial sector or a healthcare business that requires some levels of additional compliance, that's somewhere where we would typically offer some of our other products. But really, there's a multitude of industries: auto repair, like I said before, brick and mortar retail, to other healthcare services that are a bit simpler, whether it's chiropractic or an office that's requiring new patient intake forms. It's really a wide breadth of capabilities that the system can really shine for across different industries.
Great. Well, I want to give you a little bit of time to wrap up. If for those of you that have asked questions, if I haven't asked it, then please feel free to follow up with us. And I think, Isha, you're going to share your details. But thank you very much for the questions we've had. They're extremely informative in that they've allowed us to talk a little bit more about the product outside the presentation. And so I hope that those answers were useful to you. Isha, I'm going to hand back to you just to wrap up and say anything that's left to be said on this call.
Absolutely. So I hope this conversation was insightful for you. It's very, like I mentioned, it's very easy to sign up. You can feel free to contact us at any time. Here's my email address. We'll also make this presentation shareable. I believe this webinar will be shareable. And we are here for any questions that you may have. I know that we went through a lot today in this conversation. However, there may be more questions that pop up. So at any time, we're here. And really just want to say thank you again to all of the participants and to the IFA for creating this opportunity for us to do this webinar. And we look forward to connecting with you and bringing this solution to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Yishai and Fiona. This is excellent content and excellent feedback from all of you. We really do appreciate it. Again, this webinar was recorded and will appear on our website early this evening. You'll be able to find that at community.franchise.org. Thank you very much again to Yishai, Fiona, and SoundHound AI team. And again, thank you to everyone for tuning in. Have a great rest of your day and stay safe and healthy. Bye.